So, what is going on in the world of boxing today? Well, not too much to talk about, but obviously there was a controversy yesterday with Chris Eubank Jr. at the press conference. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but basically, Chris Eubank Jr. just went off on a little rant and said that basically everyone in boxing was a scumbag apart from Ben Shalom and Turki Al Sheikh. And even with Ben Shalom, who he's currently signed with now, it was only like right at the end he remembered to say, "Oh yeah, Ben Shalom's all right too," or something on those lines. So yeah, a bit of an eventful evening. I mean, I found the whole thing quite funny, to be honest. Like, you have to kind of rate the balls, don't you, of just like insulting absolutely everyone when they're all sat around you. But he's definitely a character, isn't he, Chris Eubank Jr. And we saw afterwards. It's like back in preschool when the teacher like forces you to make up with someone you've had a fallout with. They both like put out a little statement saying, they were sorry for their actions. So yeah, I thought it was quite entertaining, really. I guess we'll just take this moment to talk about Chris Eubank Jr.'s career. Yeah, it's always a bit of an odd one with Chris because he's always kind of saying that he wants to fight for belts, but you haven't seen him fight for belts in a while. And I was a bit frustrated that he took a year off after beating Liam Smith the first time. That was probably the best win in his career, and instead of building on that momentum, he disappears and plays poker for a year, and now he needs a rematch. Now he needs a warm-up fight. It's like, you wouldn't need the warm-up fight if you stayed active. If there's anything to learn from boxing these past few years, it's stay active. Look at Inoue. He fought about 5 times in his past 12 months. Look at Daniel Dubois. He stayed active. Usyk, Miller, Hergovic, now Joshua. When you stay active, good things happen. So I've always been frustrated personally with Chris Eubank Jr.'s career. I mean, he did get in there with George Groves, who was a certified world champion, and he lost. Well, I didn't see the fight live, but the highlights showed that it was a decent little scrap, but he got quite a lot of scrutiny in the media after it, I think. I think that fight took a bit out of him because he hasn't been, if you look at his box rec, like the fights he's taken each year have been like dwindling down ever since that fight. So I do think that fight took a lot out of him, but I mean, he's a good name for British boxing, Chris Eubank Jr., right? I mean, he gets people talking about him. Look at what he did at the press conference, yesterday. Although maybe it's a little bit immature, it's like, it does get people talking, doesn't it? It gets people talking about the fights, it gets people talking about him. He really understands how to play the entertainment side of boxing, You've got to fight, but you've got to be able to sell as well, which I think some people forget. You look at Josh Bawatsi, for example, great boxer, got all the skills you could ever want, but struggles to sell himself. If you look at the fight in Wembley, everyone was cheering on Hutchinson because he'd, entertained them at the press conference. He had a bit of personality about him. I think that's something boxers always need to remember, right? You've got to fight, but if you can, entertaining isn't going to hurt as well. Tyson Fury tells all his youngers to trust talk as much as you can. For me, who would I like to see Chris Eubank Jr. in there against? Well, his hit list is Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders, Conor Benn. Not for me. Like, you're a middleweight, fight middleweights. Janabek, Hamza Shiraz. I don't think he wants to go anywhere near Hamza Shiraz. Like, I wasn't sure like how good of a fighter Hamza Shiraz was, because obviously he had a good win against Amo Williams, but Tyler Denny, the European champion, stopping him like that in the second round is crazy. I think Hamza Shiraz is a serious problem. So I think for me, I'd like to see him in there against Hamza Shiraz or Janabek. Test yourself. Obviously, the Canelo fight, I would have no problems with because, he'd be testing himself against a world champion. I think Canelo would win. But I wouldn't, you have to dare to be great, right? I wouldn't have a problem seeing him get in the ring with Canelo, but yeah, I mean, he still has a few decent wins on his record, Eubank. Arthur Abraham, James DeGale. James DeGale was a bit past it, to be fair, but you have to give him some credit, There's clearly a decent fighter in there somewhere. But as I said, just frustrating, really, to not see him reach his potential. But yeah, that's today's video. Just a little bit on Chris Eubank Jr. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.